Hey guys, this is Tucker with Diesel World. We are here at PRI 2023 in Indianapolis, Indiana. You guys can come through. Appreciate it. This is Tucker with Diesel World. We're at PRI 2023 in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're going to be doing this video co-hosting with Dusty LBZ, one of our favorites. So let's get into it. So we're here with Ricky, with Smedding Diesel at PRI 2023. We've got a couple of new Duramax drop-in turbos along with some other cool stuff, so we're gonna let Ricky talk about that.
Hey guys, Ricky here, obviously like you said. We've got our new 04 to 10 drop-in turbo. Previously it was a T4 kit, which we do still sell. Comes with a downpipe that uses the rest of the factory exhaust, V-banded intake for the factory intake there, stock intercooler piping, you know, food stuff for that. This new kit uses all factory components, so it'll still use the factory V-banded intake, intercooler piping, factory up pipes, and the factory down pipe. It'll come with a couple miscellaneous parts for the feed line, the drain line, but mostly a direct drop-in turbo.
I'm not biased, but this is also a newer product, the 9402 drop-in intercooler. We just did one of these on our stock to not project, so I'm sure that Ricky has some more technical terms, but
yeah, we've got, like you just said, 94 to 02, so it'll fit the 12 valve and the 24 valve trucks. Pretty much direct drop in as well. You know, it'll use all factory components with some hardware that we'll provide for the bracket there. But
and then also they've got a new 2019 plus 6.7 drop-in turbo and manifold.
So this one, it's just like our old 07.5 to 18 kit. Turbo and manifold with a couple miscellaneous parts to go in, but obviously different placement for the 2019 plus trucks. Turbo moves up a little bit, snout's a little bit longer, intercooler pipe's a little, you know, angled differently, but this works with all factory components just like our 07.5 to 18. Factory down pipe, feed line, drain line with, again, a couple fittings to make all that work. Hey guys. So here we've got our 6.0 replacement turbo, and this is a drop-in as well as the others. Uses the factory up pipes, factory down pipe, factory intake and intercooler pipe. Comes in a couple different sizes for right now until we increase the size of the exhaust housing to run a larger turbine to run larger compressor sizes. Right now this is just 62 to 64. Still pretty good power, you know, depending on injector sizes that you go with, up to about 650 horsepower from what we've tested. This is another 6.0 turbo, but this is our T4 style. Unlike our old one, this has an integrated pedestal, just like the replacement turbo. The old style has a billet pedestal, which we do still provide if you'd like that. But you know, T4, so larger housing, larger turbine, larger compressor for more power.
Well, awesome, and once again, this is Smedding Diesel.
folks, here at the Kill Devil Diesel booth, we found this absolutely incredible build. I'm here with Cody, of course. She's going to take us over the build, some of this cool stuff that's going on. There's a lot here to dissect, so where do we start?
First off, that it is a 62 Galaxy Country Squire wagon.
Okay, not a diesel by, you know, OEM.
Nature, yes. No, Ford did not OE put a diesel in here. However, Kill Devil Diesel did.
Right on.
So it is a 6-liter Power Stroke.
Let's go. I love me a good 6-liter. And not a stock 6-liter either, right?
By far.
What's going on here?
So it is compound turbos at that.
Okay.
Despite the setup, it is compound. So we have a 364 and a 480.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Kill Devil did the long block for us. We have a Warren standalone harness. We have 330, 150, 8mm hybrid injectors. Obviously you can see the FICM is not in its natural habitat.
Yep.
We have custom valve covers, a custom oil pan, a custom firewall. I should probably stop saying the word custom.
No. There's a lot of custom bits here, which also leads me to the suspension work on this thing is also not OEM. Kind of tell us what's going on there a little bit.
Correct. So the biggest thing that unfortunately you cannot see is it is 8-lug suspension.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I like my dog dish from my wheels from Detroit Steel Wheel Company.
Okay.
They are one-offs because it is 8-lug. It is also independent rear suspension.
Okay.
With the Ford 9-inch, 3.0 gears.
It's a setup, yeah, and on air nonetheless too. I see we're kind of laying frame basically here, which is wild.
Yeah, complete custom frame. Complete custom firewall, complete custom floor pan.
Interior's all done up, right? I understand the trans tunnel is a little bigger because there may be something different in there as well.
Yes, so it is not a Ford Trans, it is a Dodge Trans. So we went with the NV4500.
Okay.
A little smaller than the ZF, and we didn't need that extra gear.
Sure.
So, but still, nonetheless, it's a 5-speed. It's still fun.
So this thing obviously is super cool. The patina is awesome. The color combo is killer, but the guys kind of told me there's a little bit of a story to why this build exists.
Yes.
You want to take us through that a little bit?
Yes. So I'm really good about not being emotional, but we'll work with this one. So we bought it off of a gentleman on Facebook from Washington because we're out of Michigan.
Okay.
And got it shipped home, instantly fell in love with it.
Okay.
Was not originally what I wanted, but
all right, okay.
It's here and I'm obsessed with it. I just peek in the garage from time to time to make sure she's still there. But got it home. I was pregnant with our twins, Maverick and Shelby.
Okay.
They are fertility babies, and unfortunately I delivered them premature. And Maverick lived about 45 minutes and Shelby lived about a half hour before they both passed away.
Okay.
So the very next day, we were on our way to make some arrangements, and I said, get rid of it, I don't want it. And he said, I'm not letting you make that decision right now. Obviously, we just went through a traumatic thing. So then fast forward, that was February of 19, fast forward to April, May of 19, and we did a 2-week road trip and went to Mini Truck Nationals for Mini Nats.
Yep.
And then did a vacation down in Panama City, and then went to Battle in Bama, and there was a ton of friends in our mini truck family. We came up with this idea, and actually for Mother's Day that May, he had the rendering done. By KP Concepts, who killed it, by the way, because the rendering is like almost spot on with how she's turned out. And then December of 19, we came to PRI and we met Jared, the owner. I'm not sure where he is, but met him. And sure enough, full circle, here we are 4 years later with the car in his booth at PRI.
Project. Wow, what a cool story. You know, for me, I love all sorts of cool builds, and this thing is rad by itself, but it hits so much harder when you start to understand the how and why people do what they do, right?
Yep.
So this is absolutely killer. Thank you so much for taking us through this. This is inarguably one of the coolest things I've seen here.
Thank you. And I do have to say that it is the natural patina.
It looks incredible.
So.
Well, cool. Thank you, Cody, so much for your time. We really appreciate you kind of taking us through this, showing us the build, and really explaining why it means so much to you.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you.
All right, folks, here at the fluid damper booth at PRI with Nick. Of course, Nick, thanks for having us here this morning.
No problem. Thanks for coming by.
Talk to us a little bit about fluid damper. Tell us about the product, what makes it different, things like that.
Okay, so we are a viscous damper. We're the original inventor of the viscous damper with our parent company since 1946. Fluid damper came in 1985 when motorsports guys wanted a viscous damper for their hot rods and racing applications. So been around since then. But our roots started in diesel, so it's only obvious that we would have diesel dampers for performance aftermarket. So we just got like the big three here, Duramax, Cummins, and a Power Stroke. A couple of our little accessory kits that we have. They're just like ARP bolts, a torque plate and things. We make most of that, except for the bolts in-house. We make everything in-house.
Okay.
And then we have our big daddy there for tractor pulling, so that's a little bit out of the norm, but so we cover tractor pulling as well.
Oh, right on. Okay.
This is the silicone that's inside the dampers, so I guess not a lot of people know how they're constructed and what makes ours different.
Yeah.
Ours is a viscous damper, so they all basically have the same thing. You'll have your housing, depending on the material, steel. This one's an aluminum one, and you'll have a inertia ring inside. And then the silicone is actually just pumped in around this edge. It's all hermetically sealed, laser welded up, and good to go. They don't leak. They never need to be rebuilt or retuned.
Right on.
And they actually they self-tune with the harmonics of the engine. So whether it's a stock engine or you're racing down the track or whatever, it's one damper does it all.
Right on. And that's what I was just going to say. So I think one of the coolest things about this product for some folks that don't know is that you don't have to push 4-digit horsepower numbers to need or utilize one of these, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Duramax guy, so for me, it's that 1-2 firing order, right? That those sheared cranks that really this helps with.
Yeah. So Duramax guys, I think most people know they don't want to talk about it, but you start pushing horsepower, and even on a stock platform. So Gale Banks, every one of his engines, he does, the military and the Marine engines, they all have our damper on it.
Right on.
So it's a reliability thing. It's far superior to an elastomer damper. Unfortunately, the price point is a little bit more, but you pay for quality and in the part itself. And these are all SFI certified, so if you are racing, you're covered. But if it's just a reliability for your engine, longevity, things like that, you know, it's just a great piece to have.
Yeah, right on. So obviously you got some cool products here, but there's also some pretty wild builds going on in the booth here. Why don't you take us through this one, tell us a little bit about it, and we can go from there.
All right, so this is a tractor pulling engine. It's a 9-liter 540 small block John Deere.
Okay.
It's built by EGR Motorsports in Eddyville, Iowa. It's going to be for 8500 Limited Pro tractor. They have most of the shiny, well, all the shiny parts are VGM, and it's their head, and they make billet rods and pistons and everything for it. And their hub, and of course our damper.
Yep.
They run our damper. They exclusively only run our product. They love it, and you know, it gave a bunch of good feedback when we were developing it.
Sure.
So, they're running Weimer fuel on this one, and they're hoping, the owner's hoping to have it on the circuit this year, 24, coming up.
Right on. Just sheerly curiosity's sake, what does something like this make power-wise? Spitball.
3,000 horsepower, 3,500 torque in a tractor engine.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And it looks great, man. It looks absolutely killer.
Yeah, it's definitely a showstopper.
Awesome. Well, hey, if folks want to, check out Fluid Damper a little more, learn more about the product, or pick one up, where can they find that?
You can go to fluiddamper.com, our website. If they have questions, you can info@fluiddamper.com. And we have multiple dealers on our website. It's like a dealer locator, so you can check them out, find them there. All your, depending on your application, but diesel shop, pretty much every diesel shop out there is going to have ours available.
Right on, right on. Very good. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Nick. We appreciate
it. No problem.
it.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, we're here with the man, the myth, the legend, Spencer from Fast Diesel Systems, and he's got a brand new product. You're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm super excited about this thing. I think it's going to be huge. Spencer, what is this and why is it so cool?
So this is our Fast EGR Solutions product. We're just releasing it at PRI for the first time. This is a filtration unit that is removing 85% of the particulate matter from the EGR stream. And why is that important? Everybody knows EGR coolers clog up, soot. So we are taking that out before it gets to the EGR cooler or valves, extending the life of those components, but also keeping all that garbage out of your engine.
Yep, absolutely. So this is 100% emissions compliant, correct?
Correct.
So no deletes or anything here, completely emissions compliant. Obviously a pretty big deal. What do you have coverage for this product on?
So right now we have 17 to 19 power stroke, and then 17 to 19 GM is one kit, 20 to 22 GM as well.
Right on. So a lot of late model stuff, super cool product there. Why don't you just talk a little bit about, why the idea behind this product, really, why does it exist? Because I know, but a lot of people probably don't.
Well, it exists because deleting is frowned upon. So we're getting some of the benefits of that process while staying compliant.
Completely emissions compliant, absolutely.
We're also, just trying to extend the life of the engine, not feeding it its own trash, basically.
Right on. So if people are interested in this, where can they find it?
FastEGRSolutions.com is our website. We have all three of the kits on there, ready to sell.
Sweet. Any plans for more model, expanding model coverage as we move forward, or?
Yeah, we're going to cover all the late models. So the next will be all the way up to 23 power stroke and 23 GM. The Rams will be coming shortly after that. It's just those are a little bit difficult.
A little more tricky than some of the other ones. Sure. Right on. Well, cool. Thank you so much, Spencer. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
If you guys are interested, make sure you check this product out. Like I said, list to the website there. So make sure you go check it out. Let's see what else we can find. All right, folks. So we couldn't leave the Fast Diesel booth without taking a look at this beautiful truck, and of course, seeing my man Jake. Jake, what is this?
So this is Michael Dalton from RLC Motorsports, and despite what people may think, because he does have another truck, another 4th gen that is also built to this caliber, this is new. Back to front, it is brand new. This is his 2024 race season build.
Okay, cool. So what do we got going on here? Because I'm gonna be honest, I know diesel trucks. There's a lot of stuff that maybe is new here or different. So walk us through some of that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll give you the basic rundown, and I'm gonna get flamed in the comments for this. It is a 6.8 Cummins.
Let's go. I like that.
Yeah. It is I believe, a fleece-built engine. It's a solid Hamilton block.
Okay.
It's running a 98mm Garrett Charger. It has, I was told, 4 digits worth of spray on it. So there's a couple nitrous tanks in the passenger seat. So he can spray it to a big 4-digit number. We know that.
Okay.
And it's got an M&M 400 behind it, so it's full build, ready to go. It is a 33-1050 tire on the back. So his plan, Mike's plan at RLC Motorsports, is to go beat up on some gassers.
Okay, all right. What's going on with the whole front end suspension thing here? Because this is very different than what we see in a lot of I would say, like ODSS trucks, for example.
Yeah. So Mike from RLC Motorsports would be the one to give you all the specs on it. I believe the engine is recessed 14 or 16 inches back into the cab, which is why it sits so low and so far back. You can basically check the oil from the driver's seat, which is super cool. And the way that the chassis builder described it to me, again, I'm totally paraphrasing here, they modeled this setup after a lot of the Pro mods. So Mike's plan, again, is to go beat up on the gas world a little bit, talk a little bit of smack, and they wanted to set this up to be a competitive truck with a 33-1050. And so that's the whole design front to back. I don't know if this is going to end up at a no prep event, but I believe it could if it needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super interesting. I think when you look at the drag diesel truck world, right, that this is very much so not standard practice. So I'm super excited that it's obviously an eye-catching truck and really just a cool build overall. So thanks for taking us through this one, man.
Absolutely. And I will say one more thing. The more you go through it, the more detail you notice. There is about 3 miles of carbon fiber throughout this thing. So if you look at this and you think, oh, 4th gen. Yes, technically this started life as a 2014 regular cab short bed Hemi truck. However, it is throughout a full race truck, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously this thing is cool. We talked a little bit about the EGR system, right, and some of that stuff that we got going on. But what else? All right, so obviously we talked about the truck, super cool. We talked about the EGR systems and the solutions there, super cool. But you guys also got a couple other products going on here. So
we do.
Take me through some of those. What do you got going on there?
All right, so I'll give you kind of the elevator version. So we all know we've been very blessed in the performance world. FAST has, we're grateful to all of our performance guys that use our Titanium Signature Series fuel systems, which obviously that is going to replace your OEM lift pump pump, and it's a great tool, especially for guys that need the fuel flow or their truck has some miles on it, so it's time to get rid of that OEM lift pump anyway. The drop-in series offers all the identical filtration, air separation, vapor separation, water separation, and debris separation of your traditional fast system. However, this is if you know what you're doing with tools, 45 to 60 minute installation for a lot of guys, and this year we are dropping 6.7 Power Stroke. All of 4th Gen 6.7 Cummins will be covered. Okay. And this is a fuel system. You're getting all the benefits of fast. However, if you can bolt in a set of LED headlight bulbs, you can bolt in a drop-in series in your driveway, and that's what it's designed for. It's all the filtration, all the quality fuel, but you're not replacing the OEM in-tank lift pump, you're just getting the filtration.
And that's what I think is super cool about these, and you touched on it a little bit there, but you know, for the guy that's running a hotshot truck, or just a stock farm truck, or he bought a diesel truck to tow his boat to the lake on the weekends, and that's it. He's not chasing horsepower. He doesn't have big sticks. He doesn't have a big turbo. This makes a ton of sense because you're getting way better filtration. You're safe from any sort of water and fuel that you might have, right? The peace of mind here is crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, we're so blessed to be known in the performance world, and we always want to support that community. But at its core, our product is a reliability product. It's a longevity product. So we wanted to make that an option for maybe the guy who he's installing a tonneau cover and some window tint and calling it done.
And that's it, yeah.
And everyone can relate to having clean fuel. So that's where we're at.
What's the spitball? What's retail on a kit like this?
So retail on this, on average, if you compare it to a similar titanium signature series system, you're going to be 30 to 40% below.
Okay, cool.
I don't have exact pricing on these kits. However, our L5P system, which has been doing really, really well for us for a year or so now, you're in the mid-4s, and that's if you install it yourself, which again, if you can turn a wrench at all, you can definitely install one of those.
Yeah, so sub $500, clean fuel. You can get your fuel wherever you need to if you're on the road, right? That peace of mind is easily worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. That's where we're at. Well, thanks, Jake, for your time. Appreciate it, man. Let's go see what else we can check out here at the show.
So now we've taken a couple laps around PRI. I'm here with Dustin now. He's been coming for a few years, and this is our first year here as myself, and as Diesel World. And a big thing that's happening this weekend is our diesel scene is pushing the heels of the gas drag racing scene and performance scene in general. So in comparison to the last few years that you've been to PRI, how do you think the diesel scene is doing in the performance industry?
It's definitely bigger, right? I mean, that's the first thing, is there's a lot more vendors here this year than there have been in years past. And I think that of the guys that are here, you're seeing more cool stuff. You know, you're seeing the complete billet block builds and the compounds and triples and diesel swaps. And you know, we saw that car this morning with a super dope swap in it. And there's so much cool stuff going on here. It's really cool to see the, you know, kind of the older gasoline performance engine and racing industry kind of be a little bit tipped upside down, right? You're seeing a lot of newer companies, and I would argue a lot of younger individuals in general, that are coming into this and saying, we want to race diesel trucks, right? We want to take something that's not meant to go super fast and go absolutely bonkers with it. You know, you're seeing some of like the rail car builds, right, and some of that stuff. So it's really cool. It's really neat. It's scaled a ton over the last couple of years, and you know, I can only imagine it's going to continue to grow as we move forward.
Sweet. Well, also we have to think about the fact that SNS and FAST is coming up with a bunch of new innovative products to not only take care of the higher end diesel performance stuff, but every single one of these guys has a pull truck with a Power Stroke Cummins or a Duramax in it, and that's just facts. Yeah. And the fact that we can, one, compete and get into the scene in the back door and just helping out people getting to these races is awesome. Yeah, a lot of reliability products, right? You're seeing a lot of that this year with some of these companies. Is sure, we'll give you big injectors and we'll give you, you know, 10 mil CP3s and all the stuff it takes to do a sub 5 second 8th mile. We'll also give you something that's just going to keep your tow rig on the road every single weekend when you need it. And that's what's super awesome, because it doesn't limit you to only the diesel truck guys, you know? Well, cool. We're going to take a couple more laps around and get you guys a few more interviews. We appreciate you tuning in.
All right, folks, so here with Luke from SNS Diesel Motorsport. Got a bunch of stuff going on here. Obviously, the rail car is probably the most sexy part of the whole booth, right?
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk kind of about some products and stuff after that.
Yeah, yep. This is Michael Cordova's diesel-powered dragster. It's the quickest diesel in the world at the moment.
I was going to say, set the record just a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, yep. 3.8 seconds in the 8th and
Which is
191 mile an hour.
Wild.
So it's pretty wild. It's come a long ways. So it's a billet block Cummins-based diesel. It's running all our fuel system injectors, high-pressure pump, low-pressure supply pump, and then electronic controls, Motec package that we did, and all the wiring and everything for it. So
right on.
It's pretty rowdy. It's a good time. So Michael's excited, I think, and the Wrenchworks guys, are the big part of the crew. So
yeah, obviously coming off setting that record is a huge deal, and you kind of mentioned there, fueled by some of the SNS products. What do you guys all have in terms of products?
Yeah, so we specialize in common rails, so the modern diesel fuel systems, injectors, high pressure pumps, and then we have sensors, electronic controls for more of the high-end competition stuff. But really, the higher volume stuff, what pays the bills, is a lot of reliability improvement products, really, and that's high pressure fuel pump solutions for OE trucks that kind of had an Achilles heel and have some reliability problems.
You can call the CP4 trucks out. It's okay. We'll let you.
Yep, exactly. So CP4 Solutions is really one of the main, products for us, for the Fords, for the LMLs, for the Rams, pretty much anybody that launched with one and started having failures, and then we kind of came in and developed solutions. So
okay, cool.
That's how this thing gets to the track behind a F450.
Okay.
That used to have a CP4 and doesn't anymore. So
right on.
That's one of our newer products, is a high pressure fuel pump conversion. For the 6.7 Ford power stroke platform.
Cool. So that kind of brings up a good point. What do you guys got in terms of some new products? I see there's a featured product showcase sign over there. Sounds like you guys got some pretty cool stuff going on this year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've got a new product in the showcase here at PRI. We won an award actually out at SEMA and Apex Show with it as well, and it's the fuel pump conversion for the Fords.
Okay.
So 2011 to current, that have the CP4 normally, have quite a few failures, and then unfortunately when the pump fails, people know all too well, it sends metal shrapnel through the whole system.
It's usually a very expensive day.
Yeah, you're talking 15 grand or so before you're back on the road, and an unknown amount of downtime. So painful times for the guys that have that happen. And so previously, and we still have the disaster prevention kit, which was the best thing you could do at the time, basically, and that the CP4 was still in place, but the disaster prevention kit basically blocked the contaminated flow. It changed the flow path and added in a filter on the return side. So if the pump did fail, at least it contained the explosion to a really small area. So you don't have to replace your injectors anymore, your rails, you don't have to drop the tank, you don't have to do all that extra work and expense. So
for sure,
that's saved a lot of people a lot of money. But really the ultimate solution is a fuel pump conversion altogether. Just get rid of the possibility of the downtime, especially for the guys that are hauling stuff like, whether it's race car guys, that's what, most of these PRIs, mostly gas cars. Right? We're kind of the smaller niche that's starting to surprise some people. But almost every one of those cars probably gets to the track in a decent truck. Towing it. So those are the guys that it gets real expensive if you're broke down on the way to a race, or the hot shot guys, fleet truck haulers, all that kind of thing. So those are, some of the key customers that really benefit. So
for sure,
we worked with Standardine, Pure Power to co-develop a new high pressure pump conversion to get rid of that all together, and that's the DCR conversion, which is over here.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at it.
So CP4's here. A lot of guys know about the CP3 in the diesel world anyways. That's been in since 2001 in the LB7s, and since 03 in the 5.9 Cummins, and so that's pretty well a tank, and it's a well done, proven product. For the LML and some of the other CP4 applications, we do conversions with the CP3 because that's been around for a while. We've had those in production for a long time. Problem is the CP3 won't fit in the valley of a Ford. Okay. So, because the CP4 is a pretty compact little package.
A little smaller pump there, sure. Yep.
So, Standardine has a base pump that's used in other parts of the world in heavy-duty engines that will technically fit.
Okay.
So we work together to take a base known proven like bottom end package and then adapt it with what we needed to do, match the output performance to make so it's a drop in, no tuning required, you know, emissions compliant package, but a much better bottom end. So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a tank. The CP4 can work well in a perfect world, you know, if everything's good, but it doesn't take much. It's just kind of got a glass jaw, really.
Yeah.
And so if you get a little bit of contamination, you get a little, like, you know, it just doesn't take much for it to, either that roller to turn 90 or for it to seize up and start skidding and it's just metal to metal and causing all kinds of carnage. So
yep, exactly.
the DCR is a nice, smooth, eccentric cam, hardly any metal to metal sliding. It's really just a much tougher, more robust platform.
It's significantly more reliable
it's hard
too.
to hurt. Yeah, it's hard to hurt. One of our field test trucks ended up accidentally with a bunch of water in the fuel.
Okay.
We didn't even realize it, and it was acting a little bit weird, and so we were like, we needed to update it to the latest and greatest. It had prototype DCR stuff in it, brought it in, and it was full of water and rust and a mess. And then luckily the DCR was fine though.
Sure, okay.
Like any other application, if it had a CP4, it definitely wouldn't be able to handle it, but it did quite well, and you know, just can take a beating and keep on going. So
right
that's
on.
what most of the work truck guys want, is something. They don't want to tiptoe around wondering, hey, you know, did I get a little bit of dirty fuel from the tank or whatever else? So it's worked out well. It's a good platform. We've sold a bunch of them already, and really just trying to get the word out to. There's too many guys that don't know it's a problem until it's a problem.
Until it's a problem, and then it's an expensive problem, right? What's retail on a kit like this?
$1,990.
So
retail on
significantly less than, you know, $15,000+ to rebuild a fuel system.
Yeah, and we're trying to keep it fairly affordable for guys to be able to do it preventative. Like, don't wait until it's too late, and then, you know, sure, we'd love for you to buy a DCR, but we don't want you to have to buy a DCR because the pump failed, and because you also have to buy injectors and have 30 hours of labor or whatever else wrapped up in it. So doing it preventative is the best option, and then you just keep on trucking and don't worry about it.
Yep. Cool. Where can people find this if they're interested in picking one up?
So the best place to get more info is ssdiesel.com.
Okay.
There's a landing page there for the DCR. That's got more info, some other video stuff, and a dealer locator as well.
Awesome.
So we sell through a dealer network throughout North America, and they're all readily available there.
Cool. Right on. Well, Luke, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, so that's a wrap on PRI 2023. Dustin and I are ready to go home and get some rest for the next few months before the show season starts. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.